Hey, Kris, I served our country and I know that there's a lot of benefits available to me. Can you give me an idea of what I can do to invest and better myself and become financially free?
Awesome, Justin. Well, I got good news for you and anyone out there that has served our country. If you have VA benefits, there's 5 ways to leverage them that can help you invest and have more financial success in life.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go!
All right, welcome back, guys. I'm here with Justin, and Justin and I, we have met face to face. You actually came out to one of my live events, and we're actually having this conversation about investing in real estate together, right?
Yeah, Kris, that's right. Came out to the event in Utah. It was great. Had a wonderful time. Learned some amazing things and really sparked my interest in learning how to get into some more passive income, specifically in real estate.
Well, Justin, let me tell you, first of all, I want to thank you for having served our country, and for everyone else watching this, our brothers and sisters that have done that as well. The VA does offer you some really great options and opportunities. And I don't know, Justin, if you're aware of all of these benefits, but what I want to do today is I'm going to launch into 5 different major benefits that the VA gives you. And it's going to culminate, obviously, in the game of, can I invest in real estate? And I got to tell you, there's a ton of veterans out there that I'm partnered with where we buy real estate together. I don't know what it is. There's something in your blood about being a red-blooded American that says, I want to have that American dream. I want to own real estate. So we're going to have that conversation today. All right, guys, so for kicking off today's conversation, let's just start off with just understanding the basics that there are definitely benefits of military service. Military service has long been recognized as a great way to grow as a person, develop leadership capabilities, and to learn valuable skills. However, there are many unique investment opportunities offered to veterans that can be tools in achieving financial stability. And we're going to go through 5 different ways that you can invest as a veteran. And what's great about having Justin here is I know that we're going to end with a conversation on his financial game plan, basically where he's at financially today, where he's trying to get to see if real estate can help him get there a lot faster. But I also just want to make sure that Justin and you listening and watching knows that there's 5 major benefits. And we're going to start with the first one right now, and it's called investing in yourself. Military service comes with some amazing educational benefits. Beyond active duty training, the military offers tuition assistance and scholarships to trade schools, universities, and even professional degrees like medical school. And you don't want to miss out on your GI Bill benefits. I'm kind of curious, Justin, have you been able to actually use some of that tuition assistance or scholarships for educational purposes?
Kris, I have. I actually used tuition assistance while I was on active duty. I was able to complete my associate's degree before getting out. And then afterwards, I completed my bachelor's and my master's, and I'm continuing to work on my master's. So I haven't had to pay a dime for school, which has been a great benefit for me and opened up a lot of doors. So I'm very appreciative of it.
And I want to make sure I understand that you not only have your BA, but you have one master's and you're now going for a different master's. Is that right?
That's correct.
Amazing and awesome. I mean, the average person spends about $50,000 a year between tuition, books, and schooling and everything. So you're definitely getting a great education. What are you getting a master's in right now?
I am going back to school to do computer science.
All right, game on, brother. Well, let's talk about benefit number 2, starting your own business. A lot of people don't know that U.S. military veterans often come home with unique, valuable skill sets, which directly translate into entrepreneurship. And the SBA has a very specialized division that's dedicated to helping veterans develop their own businesses. And so you definitely don't want to let this resource go, because while we are going to be talking very much about real estate investment today, it's a very passive investment. You also want to be aware that real estate is a business, but business could also include the SBA putting up money for you to own a particular franchise, or maybe buying someone else's business. I mean, in the next 7 years, the boomers are releasing $70 trillion back out into the universe. Millennials, especially Gen X, are going to have a chance to get their hands on some of that wealth transfer, but a lot of it's going to be gone because a lot of the baby boomer generation doesn't know that they can actually list and sell their businesses. Those are the kind of businesses that SBA can allow you to buy, and your veteran benefits will help you do that in a more advantageous way. Justin, is that something that you were aware of?
It is. I'm looking actually and getting into franchising. It's something that's been on my list since coming out to your event. Just figuring out how to get there and, navigate the system, and it's definitely on my goals.
I love it. Well, awesome. Well, that's definitely something we're going to look a little bit more at when we actually jump into your game plan. Let's talk about benefit number 3. Number 3 is planning for retirement. Whether on active duty or as a retired veteran, the U.S. military offers unique retirement benefits. Part of this is after 20 years of service, there are pensions available to you. There is a thrift savings plan, also known as a TSP, which is a little bit kind of like the government's version of a 401k. There are also other VA benefits. The Department of Veteran Affairs offers financial aid and other benefits for qualifying veterans. Curious, Justin, if you're using any of these benefits.
I am using benefits to the VA. I do have VA disability rating, so that helps out a lot, especially with healthcare costs for myself and my family.
Awesome. Do you have a TSP, a thrift savings account?
I do not.
Thank goodness. When I meet people with TSPs or meet people with 401ks, I'm always saying, how quickly can we stop that and liquidate those and actually put them into something more worthwhile than a 30-year average of 0.nothing% is kind of what it feels like at the end of the day. So I'm happy on that front because I think that you, Justin, are capable of investing your money in games like real estate or things that have way higher return without necessarily higher risk. Number 4 is the Defense Savings Program. The U.S. Department of Defense's Savings Deposit Program, the SDP, gives deployed military personnel serving in designated combat zones a guaranteed 10% annual return on deposited amounts up to $10,000. To qualify, you must be receiving hostile fire pay and be deployed for 30 consecutive days. You continue to earn 10% interest for 90 days after you redeploy home, unless you request to withdraw your money sooner. Question on this one, have you participated in this one?
Not in that specific program, but I was able to capitalize on the tax-free savings and the hostile fire pay during my combat deployments.
Got it. Were you aware that they actually offered this program where they could have you earning at least 10% on your money while you were away?
I wasn't.
All right. Well, I'm just going to tell you that the 10% annual return is actually, even though in real estate you can do a lot better, in business you can do a lot better, if you're actively deployed and you're receiving this money and you don't know what to do with your money, this is a great place to store it, probably while you're waiting until you get home and then can find out more what would be better to do with it. All right, number 5. Now, Justin, this is the exciting one. I think this is kind of what originally brought us together. My guess is this is probably what brought you out to my event, is this idea of investing in real estate, making your money work for you, producing higher returns for you. VA loans, in case you're not aware, they provide a low to no down payment option for veterans looking to buy a house, all at highly competitive interest rates. There are restrictions to keep people from buying multiple properties in quick succession with VA loans, but this is still a great way to buy your first home and invest in properties over time. And Justin, I'm aware that you've actually used this benefit a couple of times in your life. Is that right?
That's right. I've used it. This will be my 3rd home. So my first home, I used it, sold it, and then bought another one, and then I sold it, and I just built my forever home. So looking forward to staying in place for a little while, and it actually helped me out a lot.
No, congratulations on that. I think that's really exciting. And between the first 2 homes, did you financially get ahead after the proceeds and the sale of those homes? Because with the VA, you probably got in no money down. When you sold those 2 homes, how much money did you have to roll forward into this forever home?
So over the 2 homes, I made about $120,000 to $130,000 from the sale of both of them.
Yeah. Did you know that if you put no money up and you make $123,000, if you try to run the math on that, you'll get an error signal because your ROI is infinite because you put nothing in and you get a whole bunch back. And brother, that's a really cool house hack. And that's a great hack for any person here with VA benefits that's actually watching right now. We recently have become real estate partners. We just haven't bought our first home together yet. Is that right?
That's correct.
So what I'd love to do is actually do an in-depth analysis on your finances. Is that something that you're comfortable with?
Definitely. Let's go for it.
All right. I'm going to do a little bit of a top down here, and I'm just going to kind of write out and confirm with you some of the numbers that I think my team's gathered. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to share some thoughts and ideas on kind of what would Kris Krohn do if he was in Justin's shoes? And then obviously you don't have to make any of those choices. It's up to you to make those. But I'm going to share with you some of the things that I see. Is that all right?
That sounds great.
All right. If you're watching, I want you to tune in because this is what's going down. Right now, Justin, you've got a great salary. You're making over $100,000 a year. Sounds like you've got some pretty good credit. Is that right?
I do. Just check my credit score right before we got on this call. I had a 780.
780. That's fantastic. Now, you've put some money in a brokerage account. Looks like around $10,000. Is that right?
That's right.
And then you also have an IRA with about $13,000 in it. And then you have that pesky 401k that we were talking about a little bit earlier. It does have $92,000 in it, and you currently have taken a loan out on some of it, but still have about $20,000 available that you could pull out on loan. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right, perfect. For those of you that don't know, you can, with a loan, you can pull money out of your 401k, and then they're going to force you to pay the 401k back generally over a 5-year period of time. So all of the interest that you're paying is really at the end of the day to yourself and not another human being. So it can have an aggressive payback schedule because it's only amortized over 5 years, but you're really just being forced to put a higher level of money back in your 401k. So it's good to know that there's $20,000 available there. Okay, then on top of that, you also have a HELOC. This is a home equity line of credit, and it looks like that's for about $80,000. Is that right?
That's right.
Guys, what that means is Justin, he bought and sold his first 2 homes, bought the land on his 3rd home, went vertical and built his forever home on it. And what he does is he has some equity in the home. He went back to the bank after he moved in and said, hey, I'd like to get, see if I can access some of the equity that I've basically sweat into this property. And now he has basically an $80,000 available line of credit against the house that he can use for whatever he wants. I've got that about right, Justin?
That's correct.
Cool. Looks like you've got some high limits on credit cards, which we won't need to touch today, but it's the idea that, hey, that's OPM, other people's money. I can access that if I needed it for a quick deal. And then similarly, life insurance. Looks like you've just started a couple of cash value life insurance policies that you're going to be building up with time. Is that right?
That's right.
Perfect. So first of all, congratulations, brother. You have been really, really productive. You've gotten some great education. You've got a great paying job. You've served our country. You've bought a couple of homes. You've rolled a lot of that forward. And when I'm looking at your finances here, in the context of buying real estate, here's a couple of things that I'm seeing. That brokerage account and that IRA, I add those up and have a total of $23,000. And when I take a look at the other $20,000 I can get from the 401k, add $23,000 and $20,000, that's now a total of $43,000. And I know that I also have about $80,000 available on my home equity line. So when I look at this, part of what I'm saying to myself is, what money can I access? Money in the brokerage account, you can access that tax-free because you've already paid taxes on it. In the IRA, if you wanted to access that, if that's a simple IRA, then you can take that money out. And has any of that been pre-taxed?
No.
So that means that that money is available to use. And then of course you have your home equity line. Now, there are some costs to accessing some of these things. Like if you want to pull the money out of an IRA, there's a 10% penalty. So that's like $1,300. And there's some people that will say, well, Kris, a penalty or even a tax will keep me from pulling money out and investing. But that's not always the smartest move. You actually have to ask, what is the difference of the opportunity cost of what I'm missing out on? So let's just say for a moment that Justin and I have a chance to buy real estate, and we're not going to touch anything unless it produces a minimum of a 25% ROI. That's called a return on investment. And the reason why this is important, because here's the math. For every $50,000 that you can take and put into the game of real estate over 20 years at a 25% ROI turns into $4.3 million. Not a small amount of money. And so when I look at Justin's situation, I'm like, well, I've got an $80,000 HELOC. There are some payments attached to that. I've got $43,000 from the brokerage account, the IRA, and the 401k. There are some payments associated with that. But all in all, there's at least $123,000. And right now, I think my next and most important question I'm going to ask today, Justin, is right now, financially, are you living paycheck to paycheck, or do you feel like financially you're getting ahead?
I feel like I'm getting ahead. I'm able to save a few $1,000s a month.
Yeah, being able to save a few $1,000s a month means that you can borrow against that 401k, and when it produces a payment, some of what you would be saving, you just pop it into that 401k to quote unquote pay back that loan. Similarly, if you take a look at your home equity line, well, if I pull $80,000 out at the interest rate that they're going to charge me, I would take some of that money, your savings, and I would just plow it back into servicing that 401k. And that way you have $123,000 that is freed up that you can deploy and do things with. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
And this is the benefit, everybody, for what Justin has done is because he's living below his means, it means that he can have payments on some of the money he's using because living below his means provides the money to service those debts. Meanwhile, he can do what's most important, which is making his money work for him. Because here's the reality. His 401k, IRA, and brokerage account are on the 30 years averaging around a 6% return. Watch what this means. It means that the 401k, the IRA, and the brokerage account, here's $50,000, but not at 25%. We're going to say at 6% over 20 years. It doesn't produce $4.3 million. It produces $160,000. In other words, growing your money over time at a mid-single digit ROI is not exciting at all. But if you can get it into something like real estate doing 25%, you don't wind up with $160,000. You wind up with 27 times more money, 4.3. And Justin, if we start averaging more of the ROIs that I historically have been with my partners, it's not 4.3 million, it's several $1 million more than that. Does that make sense?
Definitely. I love it.
So I have two options for you, Justin. The first option is you could take all 123,000, you could put it into real estate, and over the next 20 years, the goal is to grow that into 15, 20, 25, $30 million. And that's going to be very passive, and that's one option. Another option would be, well, I'm actually going to put some of that money in real estate, and maybe I'm going to set some of that money aside for a franchise. The franchise will produce more active income for me today. And meanwhile, my real estate will be growing behind my back, making millions of dollars. And it could be a game of, hey, you know what? I've got my 6-figure salary. I've got a franchise that is making me 6 figures. So I've been able to double my income, which just means more to invest. And then my real estate is still doing its thing as well. And you have these options. So whether you go all in on real estate or some real estate, some business, that's kind of a personal choice on your side. But here's the good news. Because you're living below your means, all of these things are options, and you're in a position to really ignite your next level of going towards financial independence. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. I like those numbers. That'd be great to make that happen. So any guidance and advice, and looking forward to partnering and making it happen.
Awesome, brother. Out of curiosity, as we talk about just going in on real estate, let that be a passive game, or some real estate, some business, is there one of those that you're leaning more towards?
More towards real estate, just because I find the value in owning a piece of property and its appreciation over time. I feel like real estate's one thing that's never going to drop, like, stock markets and things like that. So I feel like real estate's always growing, and it's a legacy play, and that's what I'm all about. I want every generation to follow to have the opportunity to pursue their passions and contribute to the world rather than be strapped to a job.
I love it. Well, Justin, great news for you today is you got the ability to do a lot of real estate. You put you and your family in a really good spot. And I'm super, super pumped and excited for you. And for the rest of you, check it out. If you are watching this video and thinking, man, Justin gets to partner with Kris Krohn. Kris Krohn does 100% of the work. He puts up the money. I've done this literally thousands of times. And if you're interested in learning more about what that looks like, or what Justin experienced when he came out to my live event, or how people are actually able to partner with me, click the link below the bottom of the video and learn about partnering with Kris Krohn. On that page, you'll get some vital information on what I've done on my last $2 billion worth of real estate purchases. You'll learn something about my track record. You'll get to peek in on my last couple thousand homes that I've done. And you'll get to see what other partners are thinking and saying about their experience. Justin and I are just getting this party started. But I got to tell you, Justin, you're in a great spot. I'm super excited to do it. And if anyone else, now that you've met me and spent some time with me, if anyone else was considering partnering with me, what would you tell them based on your personal experience?
I'd tell them without a shadow of a doubt, don't even guess it. And you're a great man. I met you in person. The way that you carry yourself, your integrity, means the world to me. I look up to you in the way that you do things, not only in financial, but just changing the world through your foundation. So couldn't imagine doing this with anybody else. So thank you.
Justin, thank you, brother. I'm excited for what we're going to do together. And for you, my friend, click that link, learn more about partnering. And who knows, maybe Justin and I, as we go and build a portfolio, you and I will be doing the same. There's a lot of celebrities that have a lot of extra money and they don't know what to do with it. And you'd be surprised how many of them pile drive their money into not just 1 or 2 franchises, but a whole bunch of them. If you want to see what some celebs are doing out there in the franchise space, click this video right here. Let me show you what's up.